Gucci. He's a communist with a Gucci bag. Got his Prada cakes, gotta have his swag.
Well, now you guys, we are back with Mr. Daniel. He is he is going to tell us why he hated having chlamydia, how he got it. Don't ask me questions, okay? I'm just trying to do these videos in order. But anyways, yeah, he's gonna tell us why he hated having chlamydia. Let's go.
To another brand new video. Today I want to talk about chlamydia, so strap yourselves in for another fun and uplifting story. 6 years ago I met this Japanese girl in a guest house and I found her to be very attractive. She had a boyfriend and I had a girlfriend, so at that time I didn't take any action. The next year I left Japan and it wasn't until 2 years later that she would start emailing me. Just out of the blue she sent me an email asking how I was, and we started emailing each other on a daily basis. We didn't use Skype or any instant messaging apps, just good old-fashioned email. So one day we were talking and I told her that I was interested in going to Japan that year in August, and I just asked her, could I stay with you at your apartment? And surprisingly she said yes, so I booked my...
You know, the one thing I love about Daniel is that he's a straight shooter. Like, he shoots from the hip. Pew pew! But he's a straight shooter and he's unintentionally funny. This story to me is unintentionally funny.
Ticket straight away, of course, didn't want to waste any time, and I went to Japan 2 weeks later. I decided to go to Japan in August of 2014, and on the day that I was landing in Japan there was a huge typhoon at the airport that I was supposed to land at, so I couldn't land at the airport I was supposed to. So when I got to Haneda Airport in Tokyo, they had to redirect me to Kumamoto Airport, which was in the next prefecture, and then I got a 3-hour bus from Kumamoto to Oita. It was a bit creepy because it was an overnight bus journey and I was the only passenger. So about 3 hours later on the bus I arrived in Oita. It was the very last stop. I met the girl. I went to buy a toothbrush and we went to her apartment. We got to the apartment and we had something to eat and we talked a bit. She had prepared a bed, a mattress on the floor for me to sleep in, and I got ready to sleep and she got into her bed and we turned off the lights. And then suddenly she asked me, Daniel, isn't the bed on the floor really hard? And I said, not really. And then she said, if I wanted to, we could swap beds. So I said, okay. So I got into her bed and then she got onto the bed. She got into the bed that was on the floor. We turned off the lights again and tried to go to sleep, but then she started talking again. She said she couldn't sleep and she was feeling like excited or nervous. And she said to me, Daniel, can you show me some pictures of your cats? So I said, okay. So I sat up in her bed and she sat next to me on the floor. And then she started touching my legs and then I started touching her back, and then I think you know what happened next. We had unprotected sex. So
Thank you for that, Daniel. Now we know how you got the chlamydia.
about 2 weeks later I started to notice there was something strange. Every time I went to urinate, it felt really uncomfortable. I'm not really sure how to describe it. It was just really unpleasant. It wasn't painful. And when I finished urinating, I still felt like I really wanted to urinate more, even though there's nothing left. I didn't really think it was much of a problem, so I just ignored it and I thought it would go away on its own. And then about a week later, I started to get these really painful swellings in my knees and my elbows. It would just swell up really big and I couldn't bend my arm or my legs properly because it was so...
Oh my god, Daniel. I hope you went to the hospital or went to see a doctor. Holy crap. This kind of like reminds me of the story of my Canadian bacon. How El Debbie convinced her that she got gonorrhea from sitting on the toilet or because she's dirty. Oh, this is what it reminds me of.
So swollen. And at around the same time my girlfriend was also experiencing these pains around her bladder area, around her lower stomach area. And she would just start screaming in the middle of the night. It was really scary. And
Holy crap, you guys. I completely forgot that he had a girlfriend. Oh my god. Holy crap.
there wasn't really anything I could do to help her. So she went to the hospital to get checked out, and the doctors guessed that she might have a sexually transmitted disease. They told her that we should stop having sex for about a week or 10 days, and they gave her antibiotics. But we ended up having sex anyway, and because I wasn't on antibiotics as well, I ended up reinfecting her and the medicine didn't help. And it was around this time my hip joints also got really painful. You know where the thigh bone connects into the pelvis? It got so painful that I couldn't even stand up sometimes.
I have to say, like, I appreciate Daniel. I just love the way he's just like matter of fact about stuff. It's like these are the facts and that's that. You know, do what you will with it. I love his style. I know that's his personality, but you know what I mean.
If it was just on one side, like just the left joint that was painful, then I could kind of walk, I could limp along. But there were times when both joints, the left side and the right side, were really painful. I couldn't even stand. When I went to the toilet, I had to crawl along the floor because it was so painful. And you know when you cough or you sneeze, you kind of tense up your stomach. Every time I coughed or sneezed, it was really painful as well because
This sounds completely miserable, and he did not go to the doctors. Jesus.
it was like putting stress onto the joints in the pelvis. And because I couldn't walk properly and I was limping around all the time, my girlfriend would laugh and joke. She said I looked like an old man. And I found this kind of irritating because it felt like she didn't really understand how much pain I was in. When I was looking on Google to find out what all this joint pain was about, it actually said that in a small percentage of men, when they get chlamydia, they also get like this side symptom where they get, it's called reactive arthritis. It's where the chlamydia gets into the joints and then the body reacts to this by inflaming the area, causing it to swell up. The scary thing is, even after you take medicine, even if you take antibiotics, you still have the arthritis. It's still there. Even 2 years later, sometimes I still get the pains in my hip joints. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be, but it's getting less frequent. It happened a few times last year, and so far this year it's happened once where I had a slight pain in my left hip joint.
And for those who do not know, Daniel is fine now. This video is from like 8 years ago, so he's fine now.
I was really scared that I was going to have this arthritis for the rest of my life and I wouldn't be able to walk properly. But thankfully it's getting better, it's getting less and less frequent. I think that maybe next year I won't even have any pains. So after the antibiotics failed because I kept reinfecting her, we decided to go to Beppu where they have a sex clinic. And we got properly tested. We had urine samples taken, we had blood samples taken. And then after we finished taking all the tests, we went to a sushi place and I had ramen at the sushi place. And I also had like this beef sushi, which is basically just a small piece of beef burger placed onto a rectangle of rice, and they called it a sushi. It's just a piece of beef on rice. Anyway, a few days later we went to get the results and we tested negative on HIV, which was great, and we tested positive on chlamydia. And we sat down at the table, this doctor explained everything to us. He said we should stop having sex for about 7 to 10 days again, which for us is very difficult. And he gave us a prescription and we went to the pharmacy and we picked up some antibiotics. As you may have expected, yep, we continued having sex, we just used the condom. We didn't feel like it really mattered because since we were both on antibiotics, it didn't really matter if the infection was going backwards and forwards. So after about a week, everything was okay. My girlfriend stopped screaming in the middle of the night. I stopped having that weird sensation when urinating. The only problem was that I still had the joint pains, and I explained to the doctor at the sex clinic or the hospital that I was having these joint pains, and he was just like, "Oh, don't worry about it. When you take the antibiotics, it will clear up." Well, it didn't.
I just thought of something. Did Daniel tell his girlfriend what happened, how this came about? Oh, Daniel, you dirty dog. You better have told her what you did.
2 years later, I'm still having these joint pains. This year, I've had the joint pain for about 1 day, and last year I had it a few times as well. It was a bit worse last year, but this year it hasn't been so bad. It was kind of awkward because I came home and I was limping around when I was walking, and my parents are like, "Why are you limping? What's wrong with you?" I tried hiding it for a while, but I just had to tell the truth, and I told my dad that I had gotten chlamydia and this was like a side effect of it. And when you tell people you have arthritis, people don't really believe me because I look so young and I am young, and people don't really associate arthritis with young people. It's usually something that old people get. I know it's completely my fault and this whole situation could have been easily avoided if we had just used condoms, but
Am I, am I misremembering? I feel like, no, Daniel, this would have never happened if you did not cheat on your girlfriend. Like, what the fuck? Or is this the same girl that he met online and then he slept with her? Did they become boyfriend and girlfriend? Did I miss something? I feel like I didn't miss anything. Hold up, let's listen some more.
it's just so difficult to use condoms when you're living with your girlfriend and you're naked all the time and you're just having constant sex. Even if we had used a condom in the beginning, we would have eventually stopped using condoms and the same thing would have happened. I didn't expect her to be the kind of girl who slept around, but she actually told me that 4 weeks before we started our relationship, she actually had a one-night stand with this guy she met at.
Okay, so this is the girl that he met online. And they hooked up and then she became his girlfriend. Okay, now it's making sense. It's making so much sense. Okay.
A nightclub, and I'm guessing that's where it came from. That idiot who didn't use the condom, he gave us chlamydia. I don't really know what I would do if I could go back in time and redo it all from the beginning. I think the same thing would have happened because I hate using condoms. It takes away the pleasure of sex so much, and there would have been no way
Daniel, this is why I love you so much. You're so matter of fact, but oh Jesus.
of telling that she had chlamydia unless I asked her to get a test and I asked her to take antibiotics. I suppose I should have asked her if she had any sexual encounters recently, but I just feel really uncomfortable asking that question. It feels really rude and inappropriate to just start asking those kind of things. And she could have lied. She could have just said no, and I would have had to believe her. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with my current girlfriend. I actually asked her, when was the last time you had sex? And she
Okay, so I'm not losing my mind. He has a current girlfriend. That's why I got confused. Or is this the same girlfriend? Did he have two girlfriends at the same time? Oh my, no, I'm not going to go back to listen to it. So he does have a girlfriend. I guess that's why I got lost. Okay.
said 2 years ago with her previous boyfriend, and I've had myself checked about 3 times now. I decided to take 2 more chlamydia tests when I got back to England just to make extra sure that I didn't have anything, and the results came up as negative, so I'm pretty sure I don't have anything. I guess I'm just gonna have to use a condom. I don't know if the pleasure is worth all the pain and the
It must be nice to have first world problems, you guys. It's what we call first world problems. Danielle, please wrap it. Remember those commercials? They used to say wrap it? Yeah, wrap it.
suffering that I went through. I think it's just easier to use a condom. The tricky thing with chlamydia is you don't get any symptoms until maybe 4 weeks later, 2 to 4 weeks later. So before then, you don't even know that you have chlamydia and you end up having sex again and you end up infecting other people. If I met that girl maybe 4 weeks later instead of 4 weeks earlier.
No, Danielle. How about wrap it? You should have just wrapped it from the beginning. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ, Danielle. Jesus Christ. Wrap it.
Then she would have started having those pains that she was having and she would have gotten herself checked out and she would have found out that she had chlamydia before we even started the relationship. So I guess I was kind of unlucky because there wasn't much of a gap between when she had that one night stand and when we started our relationship. So if you really don't want to use condoms, I think the best idea would be to get yourself and your partner checked out, get the test done, and when your test results come back as negative, then you can stop using condoms. So
Yeah, no, I was about ready to say, wow, good job, Daniel. Until the last part, I'm like, yeah, no, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Oh my God.
message of the video is, guys, just use a condom. It's so much easier. You don't want to go through the same pain and suffering that I went through. It's just not worth it. And that's the end of the video. I'm going to make omelets now. Bye.
Well, you guys, that's it. Don't do the opposite what Danielle just told you to do in this. So yeah, this is when the time Danielle got chlamydia. Yep, that's what he said. But that's it for this one, you guys. Thank you very much, and do me a favor, do all the YouTube things, and I will catch you in the next video. Later. Bye bye.